Awesome. How is everybody?
But
This is fun. It's my first all band interview on Zoom.
well, we're holding our breath here.
That's how we like it. We like to get all nice and cozy.
Yeah, so I want to start from the very beginning because I kind of read a story about how Tom met Leela, and I want to hear it from you guys. How you guys met.
Sure. So basically, I was traveling. I spent about a year in India, and I was very let's put it this way, very free-spirited, and had a hard time rejoining society after my year adrift. And I found myself in this hippie commune in northern Israel, of all places. And I was just sitting around a bonfire naked. Everybody was naked. It wasn't a big deal at the time. And I was playing one of my favorite Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young songs, Almost Cut My Hair. And suddenly this beautiful naked dude joins me with his guitar. I had dreadlocks down to my butt, so did he. And we both, I think he heard the song, he loved it, he sat down, we started jamming, and we basically played for 9 hours straight. We didn't stop. We went through all our favorite songs, which ended up being pretty much the same songs. And we clicked musically like that and started making music together basically from that day.
That's awesome. So how did the rest of the band join in from there?
So a few years, I'll just say a few years later, we made our way to Montreal. We decided that we wanted to try our luck in forming a band in Montreal. At the time, Montreal was it always is and has been a hub for musicians and for artists, and it was also very cheap. We were able to live very cheaply on a tiny apartment on the rail tracks. I remember it was $300 a month. It was something awesome like that. And we were looking for like-minded musicians. And then we found this guy. You could explain here.
Yeah, well, I mean, we all were participating in the music scene at the time. I mean, Tom and Lita had already formed, and I was playing in bands, and our previous bass player also just playing around town. And we all have a mutual friend, drummer for the Sam Roberts band, Josh Traeger. So at the time, he was kind of tasked with assembling a backing band for an artist, signed artist. And he kind of handpicked all of us and kind of put us in the room. So at the time when we all met and we started to play together, we were backing an artist, that project didn't really last too long. I mean, she got dropped from her deal and her career kind of just dwindled and went away. And, we kind of found ourselves in the rehearsal space on rehearsal nights. She wasn't turning up and we were there. So we started all just to jam together, and it clicked, and Leela only needed to take a few steps forward, to the mic. She was playing keys and singing backs at the time, which is now looking back at it, it's so weird. It's so bizarre. It was so bizarre, But all she needed to do was take a few steps forward and take the mic, and the band was already formed, and we were already all just getting along so well. Mm-hmm. Ice broken, all of that, and we had a good energy, and that was the beginning of The Damn Truth. It was so weird because thinking back on it, I don't know why we answered that call, because we're just rock and roll guys. I don't know where you guys were at that time or where I was at the time, but it's all of a sudden now we're backing an artist. It's weird.
As a musician, it's especially trying to survive just off of playing music, it's hard to say no to any gig.
Exactly, yeah.
So it's just the call came, was a signed artist, that was a good pay. We went for it.
Yeah, which is exactly how I came along too, gigging around. I played this gig at an art gallery, and it was owned by our now manager, Ralph. Then he was just more of a friend consultant of the band. And after the gig, I'm outside smoking, and he comes up to me and he's like, do you want to jam with a rock and roll band? And I'm like, for sure. I say yes to everything, really. So I was like, damn right, I want to jam with another band. He's like, do you know The Damn Truth? And I actually didn't know the name, even though I had heard the songs on the radio. And I was like, no. So I didn't have that, I'm going to go jam with a known band or whatever. So I just walked into the thing and we clicked.
Yeah. PY joined us 4 years ago? 3 years
2016.
ago? 2016, 2017, something like that. Mm-hmm. So PY, joined the band after our second record.
Before dropped basically. So I managed to do all the tour cycle for the record after it was recorded.
Cool. Yeah, I feel like you guys all did something and then all connected, which is kind of cool. So fast forward to today, you guys are releasing a new album called Now or Nowhere, which comes out next month. I just want to ask what you think the overall themes and like inspirations of the album are.
I think in a way, like when I listen back to our last two albums, we did a lot of finger pointing at that time. We were really sort of like looking at society and, oh, this is wrong, that's wrong, we're ruining our environment, can't breathe the air, all this, you know, all this stuff that was very, very negative in a way. I listened back to the way I sang and I was very angry, and it really came through in the music and it came through in the way I was singing. And after touring and traveling very extensively in the last 4 years together as a family and sort of, you know, witnessing, I don't know, the way other people live and meeting so many people from different walks of life. And we kind of got this sense that like there is stuff that, you know, there's something really, really strong. There's powers that unify all of us, no matter where we are in the world and no matter what we're doing in our lives. And those powers are hope and love and, you know, these wonderful feelings of unity and community. So we really took a conscious effort to like, let's make a positive record. Let's make a record that will, you know, when it ends, you kind of are left with like a feeling of that was enlightening, you know, that was fun, that was lighthearted, and rather than the deep and the depression and the darkness. So I think that's kind of the switch that we did in our songwriting for this record.
It's about spreading love, you know? We all want to share love, we all want to feel love, but sometimes it feels like there's tension amongst people, like some people are afraid to, you know, like they need a push or a little nudge to share some love. So I mean, the music is basically a note to that, maybe to encourage people and to help people and support them and give them a little bit of positive energy and to spread that energy.
Awesome. Yeah, I think it was a rough year for everybody, so it's kind of exciting to have like this happy, optimistic album come out at the perfect time. I want to ask a little bit about the recording process, because like many people, you guys had to work with the pandemic as well. But I know you guys did the first 6 songs in Vancouver. I think that was pre-pandemic, right?
Exactly. We were there in November 2019. Yeah.
It's a pretty cool story. I mean, we've been, like Leila said before, we've been touring nonstop for years and wrote a lot of songs on the road. When we got back to Montreal, it was, you know, we kind of made up our mind that it's time to stop, like to take this conscious decision and say no to like shows and tours, because we just need to make a new record. We wanted to work with a producer that we haven't worked with in the past, and we made a very short list of people that we might be interested in working with. The first name on the list was Bob Rock, and we never really got to number 2. So our manager Ralph, he knew Bob's people, and basically said to us, you know, you only get one shot with Bob. You send him the songs, and if he likes it, he likes it, and if he doesn't, like, he can't really approach him again, you know. So
that was stressful.
It was stressful, and we're kind of hesitant, and Ralph was even more hesitant to send him stuff. But I was really pushy, and I was like, Ralph, just enough, you know, send him the songs. And I think he did, and I think within 12 hours, we heard back from Bob, and he was like, yeah, come down to Vancouver, let's make a record. And it was very exciting. It was very exciting for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Was it always, oh, sorry, you can go ahead.
Yeah, so we packed everything that we own into a van, and we drove from Montreal to Vancouver straight into like 2.5 days or something, which was a cool road trip. I mean, we've been across Canada many times, but this
was one shot.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting.
No stopping.
Yeah, you can tell a little bit more if you want about the studio and stuff.
Yeah, go for it if you want to talk.
Yeah, so we got there kind of disheveled, and you know, there's a video we released where like Dave clicks on the doorbell to the thing, and then this giant warehouse door opens, and we drive the van in, and it's like, oh, it's finally gonna happen, the fucking mystique of working with Bob Rock. And I remember walking into the studio, and he was still working on a mix of Richie Sambura's from their sessions from the previous days. And he's like, listen to this. Before he says hi or anything, he just cracks on the song, full volume. I jump out of my skin. I never heard such loud music out of nowhere before. And then after it's done, he's like, what do you think? And I was like, that's fat as fuck. And he said, "You're gonna be a lot fatter than this, my boy." And it was just from that moment forward, the nervousness kind of like melted away. He's got this way of just calming you down. You know, it's not like you're not playing for a superstar. You're playing for another dude in the band who's just as excited as you about the music. So it really helped us be creative and do what needed to be done to make this record.
Yeah, it was really awesome. There's so much to be said about Bob. Like working with him in the studio is just, it's a dream come true. He pushed us to like our limits, and it seems like a lot of, you know, he's an incredible technical producer. He knows all the tricks of the trade. But one thing that like a lot of people don't mention or maybe don't talk about working with Bob is his ability to sort of read you. He's got this incredible like psychoanalysis going on from the moment that he meets you, and he knows exactly how to get out of you what he wants and what is basically the best that you can be. And it's really, really incredible. It's like he's got it down to a science.
Yeah.
I don't really know what. It's like a bit of you know,
barely notice
magic.
it,
It's a
really.
bit of magic there what he does, but like he's got a few tricks, and it just works. It just works every time, you know, and we had so much fun, you know. I really believe that it's like the 4 best days of our lives were
Yeah.
those 4 days with him. I cannot, you
It was
know,
a dream.
I can't. I only wish we can do it again. Like we were supposed to go back in March to finish the record with him, and it was March 2020. And of course, nobody could go anywhere by then. So that's why we continued, and it took us a bit to be able to see each other again once we were in isolation at the time. But within a month or 2, we started we were, you know, sort of included ourselves in our bubbles again, and we were all we became one bubble, and then we finished the record on our own here in Montreal.
It went by so fast and easy, the whole sessions and everything. We were very lucky that we brought a film crew to document like 3 of the 4 days or 2 of the 4 days.
Yeah, in
Because
Vancouver.
honestly, it's so hard to remember all this amazing stuff that happened in such a short span, you know, with no sleep, because we drove there in 2 days from the East Coast. So.
Yeah, do you feel like being in Montreal and then recording the last songs had an effect on the sound, or do you think it's still kind of similar to what you guys did in Vancouver?
I think that we definitely learned a lot from Bob, his approach to music and the way he treated the band and the way he was thinking about the songs. So we tried our best to bring that attitude to the other 3 songs that we recorded here in Montreal. And we're also very lucky that we got the album mixed by amazing mix engineers, and they kind of helped us tie it all together. But you know, I think that any producer definitely brings something to the table, and God knows Bob did. But it's kind of like the meal was already prepared. He just kind of seasoned it, you know, like the band is the band, and we have a certain sound, and it doesn't matter if you put us in the bathroom or in the biggest studio in the world, we're always going to sound like the band too. So.
Yeah, and like prior to going to the sessions with Bob, we had worked those songs so hard every day, 9 to 5, and we really believed in the songs and believed in ourselves. So when it came time to take those 3 last songs and make them into album tracks, you know, we have the studios and we have the, like Tom says, we really believed in ourselves and we got it done.
Awesome. Yeah, another cool thing you guys did last year is you're one of the few bands that got to do a drive-in concert. And I want to ask about that experience.
It was so much fun. It was really surreal, because, you know, I never imagined I would be singing outdoors to a bunch of cars. That was, you know, it's a very strange, surreal vibe. But our Montreal like fans here are just incredible. You know, they really treat it as a festival. A lot of them came in pickup trucks and
It
ended
was a
up.
festival.
It
Oceaga
was,
presents.
yeah,
It was
absolutely.
Oceaga
It was the
presents,
Oceaga Festival
True.
this summer. It was, yeah, it's true. And
Easy
you
to
know,
forget.
so they came on like flatbed pickup trucks and put out picnic, like, you know, picnic and drinks and bubble makers, and, you know, and it just felt really, really great. We got the hottest day of the summer, and
Yeah,
it
it
was
was
just, I was playing in a bathing suit basically, and it was just so much fun. It was just, it was crazy, because then there was one moment where we jumped off stage and everyone was looking for their masks, because we had to wear masks, of course, if we wanted to like run around a bit, and we were looking for my mask. And then that's when it suddenly hit me like, oh my God, where are we? What are we?
What's
It's still COVID times, and I'm looking for a mask, and here we go. So it was definitely fun. I'm very, very grateful to have been like the only band basically in Montreal that got to play a drive-in show.
Yeah, I mean, what an hour. I think we were the first Canadian band to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the
And
first for sure.
we're definitely the only band in Montreal to do it. And we got to do it twice, like 2 shows in one day because the demand was there. So, pretty grateful to be able to look back and say, we actually played a festival gig in 2020, So
Yeah.
We're
it's pretty
especially grateful because we had no idea we would be doing this, right? So in our heads, it's like, oh, we're never going to play this year a show. It's so out of the question. And then this fell into our lap. I mean, you don't really know this about me, but I'm pretty excitable. So when the time came for this show to happen, I was so excited. There was one moment on stage where I totally went blind, like with adrenaline and excitement. And I ripped out my first ever power slide. It was crazy. Never happened before, but the excitement was at that level,
That's awesome. Yeah, like it's still, you guys are still on stage. So I guess it's kind of a similar experience for you guys.
in a way.
Do you think you'll be able to pull it off again this year, or do you think you'll try something different?
Well, I think we're all hoping for, more traditional events if possible. Like, who knows where it's headed, really? I mean, every day is every day is a different day, but if there'll be drive-in shows, outdoor shows, any type of like thing that makes concerts possible for us, I mean, I think we're willing to consider it for sure, because I mean, it's like part of our livelihood and it's part of our lifestyle and it's part of our spirit as humans. It's like playing shows is like, it's why we're here, and writing music and performing that music is why there is the damn truth. You know what I mean? So hopefully we'll get that opportunity. And I mean,
We will.
The
It's
show,
coming. It's coming.
the show itself like invigorated the project so much, and helped the spirit of the band that it's like, I think we'll definitely do some stuff this summer.
Awesome. Yeah, something to look forward to. So another thing you guys have been doing is you have your YouTube series called A Week in the Damn Life. So I want to ask a little bit about that, because I know you've done 6 episodes so far. Will there be more? Like, what kind of things do you have planned next?
It's a good question. We were just thinking about that. Like, we definitely want to continue it until, at least until we release. The release is on May 7th, and that was basically the concept of this series, was to just sort of talk about what it's like releasing music in 2021. And we had a big dilemma. How are we going to release it? Well, should we release it? And we were just like sitting around doing this, chatting here, and wondering, well, let's just put a camera in front of us and continue what we're doing, and maybe someone will be interested in like and as the plot thickens, and so we got to kind of go from week to week. And like right now things are really, really picking up in England, of all places. Like UK has gotten behind the song. The biggest rock station there, called Planet Rock, has begun spinning us quite intensively, and with it have come a lot of interviews and a lot of interactions. So it feels like that's something that we could talk about in an episode. Like, it's just things are happening day to day, and we definitely want to continue. We just we're on the verge of releasing our music video for This Is Who We Are Now, which was the last episode that we talked about. So we're just not sure if it's coming today, tomorrow. Are we releasing the video, or are we releasing another episode? But basically, yes, there will be more.
I mean, the idea was to bring people closer into the band, and to give people a closer glimpse of like what's happening week to week, what the band is working on, how things are like progressing with the release. So as long as there's something happening in this campaign, the series will probably go on. And as long as there's something interesting going on, I mean, now we're just at the point where the record it's not even out yet. So, I mean, it's only just started. So if we could continue the story for people and keep people really close to what's going on, I mean, for us, it's very exciting. And not having that connection at shows and not having people at arm's reach the way we normally do. I mean, for us, this is a way to connect with the fans and keep people like close to us, because I mean, we're really missing that that bounce back from people, like putting energy out and getting something back. So, I mean, it's through the screen, but I mean, when we share this stuff with people, we just get so much back.
Awesome. Yeah. So I want to talk about that last episode that you mentioned, because you have a little sneak peek of the music video. And I just want to know what it was like being in that box that turns you upside down and everything. Like, did you guys get sick? Did anybody get hurt?
Oh
Tons
boy.
of fun.
All of the above, I guess.
All of you.
Some of us got sick, some of us got hurt, some of us got emotional.
Definitely, I was the first time, because when we first got in, they kind of gave us just like a dry run, where just like we came a few days before, and they just, all right, let's spin it and let's see how you guys feel. And I remember like feeling that motion and not seeing the what was just a wall a second ago become your floor, was such an intense, like bizarre moment where you suddenly have to step on the wall. And I felt like that.
Fall.
Yeah, or fall. We're just okay, or just like, yeah, just drop on the ground and see what happens. And it was definitely surreal. But then the real moment where we were at the video shoot, where they brought professional like Cirque du Soleil acrobat to like strap us in. He was in charge of all of the
Securing
us to the walls and the floors and the ceiling. And when we were all strapped in, and it was like, okay, it's time to go. And the cameras are rolling and they're playing the song, and I'm supposed to be singing to the camera, and all I could do was scream my head off like I was in an amusement park ride. It was so terrifying. And I just couldn't fathom how was I going to get over the fear and start actually performing the song. And so it took a couple times for me. It took a couple turns in the death box until I was able to get over it.
The real hero of this video, though, is Dave Trena here.
This man over here.
I can't take all the credit because everybody was kind of attached to the box and rotated with the box. There's different types of shots, you know. There was shots where we were standing in it as the box turned, and there was shots where we were fixed and attached to the box itself as the box turned. So 1 second you're right side up, and then 30 seconds later you're upside down. 10 seconds later you're on your side.
Yeah, but
we all had to do that, but I was the one who did it more times, you know, like I was upside down. Sorry, I'm pointing up, but I mean, I was attached to the floor playing drums, and then the floor becomes the ceiling, and all of a sudden I'm upside down playing the drums. They're jumping around in front of me. It's very chaotic. It's actually kind of challenging and hard and exhausting, surprisingly.
Yeah.
But such a rush and such a thrill, and like, who gets to do that, you know?
It's crazy.
It's a very unique opportunity. The film production company, who have become like real dear friends to us, they came to us with this concept that it's like, you know, we can dream these things, but they're just like crazy ideas in our mind. They came with an idea and a means to execute it. And then a few weeks later, we're upside down in a box shooting a music video. It's literally one of the craziest things we've ever undertaken and achieved, you know? And we still haven't delivered that final product. I think when people see the video and then you get all the shots and the edits, and it's like out of control. It's super, 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 super cool, you know? Yeah. But it was tough. I mean, for me,
you were pretty bruised. You were bruised. The harness.
The harness guy was just basically kind of telling us, he's like, you know, normally circus acrobats, they train for a few weeks or a few months to do this. And it was like, I showed up at 10 a.m. and by 11:30, I was upside down, you know? It was very...
physically demanding.
It was kind of physically demanding because while I was upside down, that's not so bad. But the whole time the box is turning, you kind of need to support your body and play. And it was exhausting, and the blood is like turning around my body. And after like a few turns, they detached me. I was like, I kind of had like a little bit of a breakdown for some reason. I was like tired and exhausted and a little dizzy, and somewhere inside of me, I was like, I don't know if I could do this. The whole video is going to be a flop. I like almost freaked out a little bit, you know? But, you know, he was there. The guy was there to coach us through it and like help us.
I opened up a bottle of Jameson and everything was fine.
And we just did it and did it more and did it more and did it more. And it ended up being great, you know? It's like we had to harness that moment because it's like, it's not the type of thing you do 4 times in your life. It's like, you know.
The craziest was when he's strapped in and the 3 of us are loose in the box with our guitars and cables. And as it's going around, the cables are tangling around. We're falling on each other. And you look back and Dave's upside down. It was crazy.
It's nuts.
Total chaos.
Nuts.
Yeah, the death box.
The death box.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it. Do you guys have like a release date or?
Not yet.
We don't. It's in like the, you know, it's in like the final stages here of editing. Yeah, so
it's any day.
Hopefully, real soon.
Okay.
I'm sure it's ready like a day later. It's gonna be up. So hopefully, real soon.
Awesome. Yeah. I have kind of a random question that's connected to the album title. Would you rather live where you are now or in the middle of nowhere?
Well, I'm from the middle of nowhere, so I'm happy.
You're set. Yeah.
I like nowhere because that kind of feels to me like after being on the road for like, I don't know, a month or 2 or 3, you kind of get to that point where you don't know what day it is, you don't know what time it is, you don't know what country you're in, you don't know, you lose complete track of time, space, who you are, what you really are, and what you end up being is now, but you're in nowhere. So I do like the nowhere vibe of not being completely nomadic, and there's nothing tying me down except, what I have the show tonight. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my last question is, what's next for you guys?
Hopefully, world domination.
Awesome.
Trying to take over the world.
We just want to tour everywhere, man. I wanna be on the road for the rest of my life. So the minute COVID is done with, hopefully we'll all get vaccinated quickly or choose not to and be happy and just continue the road.
Are you in Vancouver?
I am.
Yeah, we have a lot of relationship with the city of Vancouver.
We
Just
love it.
like-
Come back.
We
can't wait. We wanted to go to Vancouver to make our record because not only because of the studio, like you guys have the best recording studio in Canada for sure, the warehouse over there, but also just the vibe of the city and the sushi and the people and the beauty of it.
The beach. Oh,
Yeah, and
beach.
it's just like we love Vancouver and can't wait to be back. Always have a good time when we're there.
Oh
Absolutely.
yeah, great time.
Awesome. Well, thanks for chatting with me. Hopefully Vancouver will see you soon.
Hope so.
Well,
Thank you so
we
much
shall.
for talking.
I think Vancouver.
Yeah, all right. Have a
Vancouver
good
Lake.
one, guys.
Thank you too. Bye.
Much love.
Bye.